afternoon, sir.
Vinay. Good afternoon. So you are connecting from which place? Dehradun?
Roorkee, sir.
Roorkee. You are studying there or what?
Yes, sir, I'm studying there.
What you are pursuing?
Sir, I'm doing my master's in mathematics at IIT Roorkee.
IIT Roorkee. Okay. So what is your graduation subject?
Sir, I did a bachelor's in science in physics, maths, and defense.
Okay. So this is your first uh, job interview, I suppose.
Yes, sir, this is my first.
Okay. So CISF is your first preference, right?
Yes, sir.
After doing IIT, why you are interested in armed police forces?
Sir, I was interested in joining the armed forces from the very beginning, and IIT is my backup plan. That's why I'm in that.
IIT is a backup plan.
Yes, sir.
But study is okay, means backup plan means career. So what
Yes,
is
sir.
other backup plan? Means suppose you are now selected for this CAPF, then what?
I would join CAPF.
You will join? No, no. I mean to say if you are not,
Yes, sir, sir.
then what is your B plan?
Sir, I would take the placement from here.
Take
Placement from here, sir. I would appear for the placement.
placement. Okay. But you should speak a bit loudly. Okay. Your fear you are away from camera a bit. Okay. So what motivated you to means apply for this post?
Sir, I was interested in joining the forces since I was in class 10. I had a passion for joining it. And so the way of life that forces offer you is what motivated me to appear for it.
So if you are inspired by army way of life, then you will be disappointed because CISF way of life is just like civilians.
Yes, sir. Actually, sir, I initially applied for NDA, and after giving two attempts of NDA, when I took a break and re-evaluated my skill set and my strengths, weaknesses, I realized that I'm better suited for a job that is in between a proper army and in between the civilian life. And CAPF
Hmm.
precisely is that opportunity.
You have written, you have done BSc in mathematics, physics, and what is the defense?
So it was a subject of which I studied for 4 semesters.
What is this subject? Oh, it's written only defense.
It was
Defense what? Huh?
defense and strategic studies. It was
Defense?
defense and strategic studies, sir.
Defense studies.
Defense and strategic studies.
Strategic studies. Okay. So can you tell me about these defense and strategic studies? What did all you read or study there?
So I studied about terrorism. Uh, I studied about disaster management and international law. So, yeah, these were the
Hmm.
subjects. And cybersecurity and artificial intelligence.
Generally, they say one man's terrorist is other man's freedom fighter.
Yes, sir.
What do you think about this statement?
So it basically tells us about the perspectives of how one sees a person. So, for example, if a person is doing a terrorist attack, then according to their ideology, they basically justify it by their own ways. However, sir, the ones who are affected by it, they are the victims of that. So they have
Hmm.
their own understanding of it. For them, they are terrorists.
So there can be different perspectives. Means if same issue can be looked at from different perspectives, positively and negatively, right?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay. So can you tell me something about there was a radical phase during Indian freedom struggle also? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Very interesting phase, and there was some radical those who resorted to certain terror activities, so-called terror activities in those days also. So what is
Yes, sir.
your understanding how we should look at that radicalism in those days?
So that radicalism was in a way justified by the oppression that was done by the Britishers, and it was in a way a response to that oppression when the civilian ways or the diplomatic ways were not that effective according to those who were involved in it. So I think so in the current circumstances it can be seen as an analogy to what the Baloch Liberation Army is doing in Pakistan.
Hmm. Okay, tomorrow is an anniversary of very significant historical event.
Yes, sir.
What is that?
I think, sir, it was the conclusion of Operation Hindu.
What?
Conclusion of Operation Hindu, sir. 10th of May it is now.
That is gone, I suppose. I'm saying what tomorrow, 10th May,
I don't, I cannot recall it, sir.
1857. Can you recall?
Sir, I'm not sure, but it might be the uprising of 1857.
Yes, that is the event. Tomorrow is the day when it was all started. So, how do you look at, given your defense studies and what these issues means strategic issues? How you look at this uprising?
I think, sir, this uprising was a significant event in the history. It gave a whole new momentum to the Indian freedom struggle, I would say. And when we talk about, sir, the modern history, it actually consolidated from there onwards. So it was definitely a very significant moment.
Okay, tell me now, what is your nuclear doctrine?
Sir, India's nuclear doctrine focuses on no first use, and it is for defensive purposes only, sir.
Is it practical to say no first use, because by the time you means exercise this option, right? Means
Yes, sir.
it means the other party will have the priority. Mean they will exercise their option first and then we will do it. So is it
Yes, sir.
feasible then?
I think, sir, it is uh, feasible in the manner that we are using it for our defensive purposes. That basically is a policy. But when it comes to being actually attacked, I think, sir, we already have a defense system, missile defense system. So if we intercept any of the missiles, in retaliation, we can attack the enemy targets as well, sir. Besides this, apart from Pakistan, sir, I don't think that we share the information of our nuclear installation. So them being attacked is not a possibility. So we will have a window for retaliation.
Okay, now tell me how these studies, defense and strategic studies, will be useful for you if you become an assistant commandant.
Sir, in the defense and strategic studies, what I studied was very broad subjects. For example, I studied about terrorism and cybersecurity and artificial intelligence. And I think, sir, in the current scenarios, all these subjects are very relevant. Particularly, sir, I also studied the disaster management and humanitarian law. All these subjects are very important for an assistant commandant, and having an understanding for them is very much important. So what I studied was obviously the introduction of all these things, but it in a way has instilled a curiosity and a base for further studies in that.
Sometimes I wonder, hate speech, the way it is now practiced from across the border, from any corner of the world, and then means you try to disturb the communal harmony or the
Yes, sir.
religious harmony of a country.
Yes,
Should
sir.
we try to categorize it in certain circumstances with certain safeguards that it can also amount to an act of terror?
Yes, sir. I think that hate speech should also have certain regulations and it must be categorized as an act of terrorism because what words can do is much more than what weapons can do, I believe that. And monitoring it and in a way controlling it is very important. Considering it as a terrorist act is, in my understanding, a decent thing. And I think, sir, we already do that. When somebody goes for the hate speech, we put them in preventive detention or stuff like that.
Hmm. Okay. So Dehradun and Uttarakhand.
Yes, sir.
The ecology of Uttarakhand has become very, very fragile,
Yes, sir.
right? So many people lose
Yes,
their
sir.
lives during monsoon period or even Char Dham Jatra. So, what is your advice? How the situation should be improved and the ecology should be improved so that people do not lose their lives?
Sir, I understand that the ecology is very fragile in these states, and we can take all the measures, but still we cannot be certain that we will be able to save all the life. But I think, sir, if we follow the basic guidelines, for example, when we are building the structures, we build them in ecologically shrewd manner. We build we build our installations away from water bodies, which obviously get flooded on during the monsoon season. I think we can prevent a lot of accidents. Besides this, sir, putting a controlled yatra during the peak season, for example, during the monsoons, is a very good way to prevent such mishaps. And I think so prevention is better way to deal with such challenges.
But in a way, now we can't do much because damage has already been done. At the most, we can now stop further developmental activities. Uh, but now, how to respond to such incidents? You have to plan response. So something has happened. How do you plan the response? Being a mathematician and having studied defense, this thing, having knowledge of defense studies also, because defense studies in a way teach you about response also, right?
Yes, sir. Sir, first of all, we would have to analyze the past event. And if we analyze the past events, sir, the kind of disasters that have occurred in Uttarakhand are very much common in the same year. We get flooding, and it is the flooding that does the maximum damage. Apart from it, sir, cloudburst is another massive disaster. In situations like these, sir, first of all, we would be having quick reaction teams. Across Uttarakhand, sir, we have different units of army, of ITBP, and with the border with Nepal, we have got SSB. We should cover. We should make sure that we are having at a good distance from every vulnerable place some units of the army or the paramilitary forces. so that they can respond uh, in a short period of time. Second thing is, sir, we must relocate the installations that are near by the rivers, etc. And regarding the cloudburst, sir, we can have some community halls so that rehabilitation is in a way uh, done in a smooth manner. So rehabilitation is one of the most important thing in disasters because at times prevention would have its limitations.
No, no, that is all right. Disease prevention is all right, I understand. In disaster management cycle, prevention, preparedness, mitigation is a
Yes, sir.
step. These are means kind of issues. And
Yes, sir.
then if something happens, then we should be ready for response also. So what you are trying to tell me is kind of mitigation.
Yes, sir.
Now, when a disaster has happened, the mitigation stage is already long gone. So
Yes,
now
sir.
we have to respond. We have to save lives. People
Yes,
are
sir.
in distress.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Sir, in the response, first of all, we should deploy our forces, the SDRF, the NDRF, the Army, police, etc. We should coordinate with the healthcare sector, the medical sector, and the
Hmm.
evacuation as well as the search and rescue operation have to be conducted at the earliest. Uh, yes, sir. That's what we can do.
Okay, now tell me, there are lot many allegations against Central Armed Police Forces for violation of human rights. Okay, so when you are in operational area, mistakes do happen, rights are
Yes, sir.
violated, but how to keep them to the minimum?
I think, sir, to keep the cases of human rights violence to the minimum, I think, sir, first of all, having an ethical approach towards dealing the operation should be to the maximum, sir. When you don't do something intentionally, I think the chances of it happening are already reduced. So, first of all, at the ethical level, we have to be very much cautious. Secondly, sir, if any cases of human rights violations happen, we should, at the very earliest, respond to it and we can in a way correct it in the manner we can depending on what kind of violations have been happened and in a way if there is any justification or reasoning for that I think that should be clarified and communicated effectively so that it is not taken in a negative sense.
The right already violated can be corrected.
I think, sir, when you are in operations, there is a possibility that at times things don't go the way you want them to go. But apologizing and communicating that why exactly that happened is something that can, in a way, empathize with the victims and can help them mitigate their risk. It obviously cannot be erased
Hmm.
entirely, sir, but it can definitely make the victim feel relatively better.
Okay, so what are your understanding of border management?
So border management is a complex issue which involves first of all guarding the borders, patrolling it, stopping illegal immigration, organized crimes, as well as cross-border infiltration and encroachment, sir. Encroachment from the military of our neighboring countries. All these
Hmm.
things have to be tackled. That's what I understand of border management.
Okay, so do you read about borders in your defense studies?
It was not specifically there in my coursework, well, but yes, sir, that basic understanding of the borders I do have.
Okay, what do you understand by strategic defense and strategic studies? So, what is this strategic?
So the term strategic refers to what we can do without actually doing anything. It's about what's happening in the rooms that are closed rooms, which does not get very much reflected by the words, which is reflected by the action.
So, what may be the difference between strategic and tactical?
Sir, strategic is a long-term policy that we have for employing our decisions in the short term. Tactical things are something that we deploy for small or a relatively shorter period of time. So for example, what we did in Operation Sindoor was tactical, sir. But what we have been doing after Operation Sindoor is strategic.
And operational?
Sir, with respect to operational, it's about when we are having our foots on the ground, what we are doing in that sense, in that situation.
So, which stage of these three stages, strategic, tactical, operational, requires more intelligence support?
Okay. I think, sir, this is a very difficult thing to pick up. But I would say, sir, when we have our men on ground, having the intelligence at that point of time is very important, sir, because at that time we have the possibility of a casualty, which is of utmost importance to us to prevent it. With respect to strategic and tactical things, sir, we do need intelligence inputs. But when we have men on ground, sir, responding to their distress is the main concern.
But don't you think for all these three stages, there are distinct requirements of intelligence, and all these three kind of intelligence have different purpose, different meaning, and different application?
Yes, sir, absolutely. In fact, when we are having our manned on ground, sir, what I understand by intelligence is we are having, let's say, drones in the air that can support them and tell them in advance that what threats might lie ahead of them. We have satellites in there. Sir. When we are talking about tactical, we can monitor the build-up of of our enemy military in during the satellites. But when we are talking about strategic intelligence, sir, then we are talking about the long-term policy monitoring and analysis of all those actions that are being taken by our hostile countries. So the intelligence required in all these three cases is different.
Okay, Vinay, thank you so much. All the best.